Breaking. Karlie drops bombshell receipts on Kirk's double life. Fans stunned. You thought the tea was lukewarm. Think again, because Karlie Red didn't just spill it. She detonated the whole damn kettle on national television. Y'all, we're not talking shady side-eyes or cryptic subtweets anymore. We're talking full-blown dossiers, color-coded receipts, and scandal so juicy. Even the Love and Hip Hop producers looked shook. Kirk Frost, yes. Mr. Rashida for life until the camera cuts just got exposed, like never before. And Karlie. She pulled up to the reunion like Olivia Pope with a vengeance and a filing cabinet. Screenshots, hotel receipts, flight logs, text messages that read like the script of a bet drama. Is this the final nail in the Frost marriage coffin? Was Rashida really in the dark this whole time? And why does Karlie look like she's been waiting for this moment for years? Buckle up, messy famby, cause what started as a reunion episode just turned into a courtroom thriller, a betrayal saga, and a revenge fantasy all rolled into one. And if you thought reality TV couldn't get any messier, trust me, Karlie just changed the whole damn game, so sit tight. Because we're diving deep into the scandal that has Atlanta on fire, and baby, the ashes are still smoking. Asterisk, Karlie Red didn't just show up to the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reunion. She entered like a woman who had been sitting on a nuclear secret for years and finally decided it was time to drop the bomb. The moment she walked in holding that manila folder, it was like the air in the room shifted. Kirk Frost immediately looked like he'd seen a ghost, and Rashida, bless her heart, tried to keep her composure, but you could see the cracks forming around her eyes. The tension was suffocating, and fans didn't even need the audio to know something sinister was about to unravel. What was in the folder? That was the million-dollar question. And Karlie. Oh, she was ready. This wasn't one of her usual messy moments. This was controlled, calculated, cold. She had documents, not rumors, not hearsay. She had cold, hard evidence. And when she slid that folder across the table, like a final divorce paper, everyone leaned in. According to multiple sources on set, the folder contained flight itineraries showing Kirk traveling solo on dates he had publicly claimed were family vacations. There were hotel bookings under fake names, but with unmistakable handwriting on the forms that matched Kirk's signature. There were receipts from dinners, expensive gifts, and even a hotel spa invoice billed to a woman listed simply as Tasha R. The same Tasha who once claimed in a now-deleted Instagram live that Kirk had been promising to leave Rashida for over a year. But it didn't stop there. The biggest blow came from a string of screenshots, text messages from a burner number Kirk had allegedly used to communicate with not one, but two different women. And the texts weren't vague. These weren't "Hey beautiful" or "What you doing" kind of texts. These were explicit, detailed, deeply personal. Messages that referred to private things Rashida had probably never even heard him say. Phrases like "I hate pretending for the cameras" and "You know I only come home because of the show" were just the start. And to make it worse, one of the women referred to him as her man, not her side piece, not her fling, her man. Fans watching at home were stunned. The internet didn't just react, it detonated. Twitter erupted into a frenzy with people digging through old footage trying to connect the dots. And oh, they found them. An old vlog from 2021 showed Kirk wearing a distinctive red hoodie while filming a scene with Rashida. That same hoodie showed up in a grainy photo now circulating online of him in a Miami hotel lobby, next to a woman whose face was blurred but the outfit was unmistakable. The timestamps didn't lie. That same day, Kirk had told fans on Instagram he was at the Frost Bistro getting paperwork done. Lies. Layers and layers of lies, peeling back in front of everyone like some twisted reality show onion. And Karlie, she was quiet, still, stoic. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't cry. She simply handed over the folder and said, "Do with it what you want." That was the moment the audience realized this wasn't about drama anymore. This was a reckoning. Rashida sat there blinking, as if her brain was trying to catch up to what her eyes were seeing. Kirk tried to downplay it, calling the texts fabricated and the receipts taken out of context. But no one was buying it. Especially not when one of the texts included a selfie he'd clearly taken in his home studio. The same studio Rashida had redesigned for him just last season. You could see her reflection in a framed photo on the wall. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was visual, tangible, irrefutable. Behind the scenes, production was scrambling. What started as a reunion special had turned into a live implosion. Security was reportedly asked to stand by the dressing rooms. Some cast members were seen whispering in the corners, not sure whether to console Rashida or stay the hell out of it. And Rashida, She looked like someone who had just realized her whole storyline had been built on a foundation of lies. According to sources on set, she walked off quietly, saying nothing. Her mic still hot as she muttered, "I need a damn minute." But the cameras kept rolling. They caught Kirk following her out, but she didn't even turn around. In the moment the footage hit the internet, fans didn't hold back. Memes, reaction videos, breakdown threads. Karlie's folder became the most talked about prop on reality TV since the reunion chairs flipped on Bad Girls Club. And yet, there was still more to uncover. The receipts she showed weren't even the full set. Rumor has it Karlie held back some of the most explosive evidence: alleged voice notes, bank transfers, and photos that were deemed too explicit to air on cable TV. And that's when fans really started asking, why now? Why would Karlie sit on this information for so long? Was it revenge? Was it protection? Or was it all part of some long-played strategy to get even for something that happened behind closed doors? Whatever her reasons, one thing was clear: Kirk's world had just been turned upside down, and there was no going back. Rashida's face in that reunion said it all. Not anger, not shock, just a deep, bone-tired sadness that hits when you finally accept you've been loving a lie. And while Karlie didn't gloat, didn't cheer, didn't do her usual messy celebration, there was something in her eyes that said this wasn't a moment of victory, it was a moment of release. Like she had finally let go of a truth that had been weighing her down for years, and now it was out, raw and ugly and undeniable. The cast didn't know where to look. Producers didn't know how to spin it, and the viewers, they couldn't look away. And just when fans thought the dust had settled from Karlie's folder drop, things took an even darker turn backstage, where whispers turned into full-on gasps. One of the producers, caught in a hot mic moment, let slip that VH1 had been sitting on unaired footage from a scrapped pilot featuring Kirk, footage that now suddenly had new relevance. In the footage, Kirk was seen cozying up in a VIP lounge with a woman who wasn't Rashida, rubbing her shoulders while mumbling about being tired of pretending. The clip never made it to air due to creative redirection, but now, with Karlie's receipts lining up the timeline, it painted a damning portrait. Meanwhile, another source close to production claimed that Kirk had been warned weeks before the reunion that someone was planning to air out his skeletons. Apparently, someone from the glam team overheard a conversation where Karlie was rehearsing exactly how she was going to lay the evidence out page by page, text by text. And yet Kirk still showed up smug, confident, and ready to gaslight his way through the episode like he always had. But this time, the narrative had flipped. This wasn't the usual love and hip-hop drama, this was a case file. Twitter was on fire with users comparing the situation to a full-blown legal trial. One user wrote, "Karlie just turned the reunion into a courtroom and I'm living for every second of it." Others dug up old footage of Kirk's past scandals, like that time he was caught on camera in a hot tub with strippers, or when he forced Rashida to take a paternity test for their own child. The internet remembered, and it wasn't pretty. What made this entire situation worse was how calculated it appeared. These weren't spur-of-the-moment flings. These were patterns. Kirk allegedly had separate credit cards under business names to book hotel rooms, flights, and even DoorDash orders to apartments no one knew he rented. One invoice even showed recurring payments to a consultant, who turned out to be a woman listed under a different last name but registered to the same address that popped up on another set of leaked Airbnb records. People started piecing it together like an episode of Scandal. And every new discovery made Kirk look less like a confused husband and more like a man running an entire double life. Meanwhile, Rashida's silence only made the situation louder. She didn't return to the set after the first break. And insiders say she refused to do her confessional, citing that she needed legal counsel. Legal counsel. That sent fans spiraling. What did she mean by that? Was she planning to sue? Divorce? Or was there something in those documents that had financial implications beyond the cheating, like fraud, embezzlement, or worse? Karlie, on the other hand, returned to her seat with the poise of a woman who had said everything she needed to say. She didn't elaborate, she didn't double down. She just sat back and let the chaos unfold, watching the internet burn with the same calm detachment of someone who already knew the world would catch up. But that didn't stop the wave of messages flooding in. One anonymous account leaked a voicemail allegedly from one of Kirk's side women, crying and ranting about how Kirk promised to take care of her if she stayed quiet. Another DM showed what appeared to be a wire transfer receipt dated just a week before the reunion, suggesting Kirk might have been trying to pay people off before the truth came out. And then there were the kids. People started asking hard questions. What did their children know? Were they exposed to all this chaos while cameras were rolling? A few fans pulled up old interviews where Rashida mentioned feeling like she was raising their family alone while Kirk focused on business. Now, it seemed that business might have been something else entirely. And the kicker. A former assistant of Kirk's, using a burner account, went online and claimed that she once had to book a hotel suite under a fake company name for a weekend meeting that turned out to be a getaway for Kirk and one of his flings. She said she quit the next day after realizing what was really going on. People didn't want to believe it, but the pattern was impossible to ignore. Fans even began comparing Karlie's takedown to other reality TV exposes, saying this made the Phaedra Candy scandal look like child's play. The level of detail, the accuracy of the receipts, the sheer number of sources, it was overwhelming. And just when the internet began to catch its breath, a new piece of evidence hit the scene. A blurry but damning photo emerged of Kirk exiting a condo building in LA that reportedly belonged to a woman named Ellen, someone previously linked to him in fan gossip forums. She had posted cryptic captions on her now-deleted stories about men with double lives and being tired of being the secret. The photo, timestamped and geotagged, matched up perfectly with one of the travel itineraries in Karlie's folder. That was the final nail. Suddenly, even the most loyal Kirk defenders started going quiet. Blogs that once praised him for being a family man began scrubbing those posts. Former business associates started making statements distancing themselves from him. What was once a scandal was now turning into a full-blown crisis. And through it all, Karlie remained untouched. She didn't gloat, didn't brag. She simply said, "I told y'all to stop playing with me. But even as the walls closed in on Kirk Frost, what came next, nobody could have predicted. As producers scrambled to review the reunion episode before airing, legal teams got involved not because Karlie said something defamatory, but because the receipts she presented included allegedly forged contracts, backdated invoices, and bank transfers that implicated not just Kirk, but several shell companies he'd supposedly used for tax write-offs. The implications went beyond infidelity. This wasn't just a cheating scandal anymore. It was beginning to look like fraud on a level that could catch the attention of federal investigators. And just like that, the reunion taping was halted replaced by a damage control meeting behind closed doors. Multiple cast members, now panicked, began questioning what they knew. Some even worried they might be unintentionally involved by associating with Kirk's businesses. One insider described the vibe as absolute panic, like rats realizing the ship was sinking. At the center of it all, Karlie remained eerily calm, as though this was the exact domino effect she had predicted. It turns out, she had kept most of this information to herself for months, waiting for the perfect public stage to let it loose. Fans began comparing her to Olivia Pope, calling her Karlie the crisis queen, while TikTokers started reenacting the scene using dramatic music and voiceovers. Meanwhile, Rashida still hadn't spoken publicly. That silence, once seen as dignity, was now being read as strategy. Rumors started swirling that she had already consulted with financial attorneys, with sources claiming she was looking into asset protection strategies. There were whispers about a possible divorce filing in secret, and fans speculated that she was done cleaning up Kirk's messes. Some even believed she was planning to sue not just Kirk, but the network itself, for enabling this toxic environment under the guise of reality entertainment. And then, as if things couldn't get more surreal, a former Love and Hip Hop castmate went live and claimed that Karlie wasn't acting alone. She alleged there was a secret alliance of women former and current cast members who had been comparing notes for years about Kirk's lies, deceit, and manipulation. They had allegedly formed a group chat titled The Frost Files, where they compiled dates, photos, DMS, and even timestamps of overlapping trips. According to her, Karlie had simply been the chosen one to unleash it all because she had the most compelling delivery. The betrayal, it seemed, wasn't just marital, it was communal. Kirk had apparently been cycling through women like audition tapes, spinning the same lies, making the same promises, and thinking no one would ever compare stories. But they did, and they documented everything. Screenshots from the alleged group chat began surfacing online, revealing just how deep the deception ran. Women from Atlanta, Miami, LA, even Canada each had a story. Each had receipts, and many of them had unknowingly overlapped. The timeline was a disaster. While Rashida was at home raising kids, Kirk was reportedly globetrotting, telling one woman he was filming, telling another he was scouting new music talent, and telling a third he was stuck in business meetings. The kicker: at least 2 of those women had believed they were in actual relationships with Kirk and were shocked to learn he was still married. The public backlash was ferocious. Blogs dropped him. Sponsors vanished overnight. One music label, that once flirted with signing him as an A&R consultant, scrubbed all mentions of him from their socials. Influencers who had partnered with his side ventures started issuing statements of distance. And yet, through all of this, Kirk still hadn't issued a public apology. Not to Rashida. Not to the fans. Not even a fake PR-crafted note. Nothing. That silence only amplified the rage. Meanwhile, Karlie received a wave of support from fans and even a few unlikely celebrities who praised her for standing in her truth and refusing to be gaslit. Some compared her moment to when Monica Lewinsky reclaimed her story, or when Britney Spears finally broke free from her conservatorship. It was about liberation, not revenge. And the streets were watching. As news of the potential financial fraud spread, more entities began to quietly look into Kirk's dealings. A former accountant who had worked with one of his side companies hinted anonymously that she always had suspicions but lacked proof. Now, with Karlie's expose, she said the pieces made sense. It wasn't long before rumors swirled that someone from the IRS had been tagged in a viral thread detailing the Frost Files. Suddenly, this was bigger than love and hip-hop. It was bigger than marriage. It was systemic. This was about deceit at scale. And somewhere in the middle of that storm, Rashida finally broke her silence, not with a tweet or a statement, but by unfollowing Kirk on every platform and deleting all their shared photos. Digital divorce, one fan called it. The comment section exploded. Fans took it as confirmation that the rumors were real, that the betrayal was deep, and that the consequences were permanent. A show insider confirmed that cameras had resumed filming not the reunion, but bonus footage to cover the aftermath. Apparently, producers knew this was too explosive to ignore. What had started as just another messy reunion had turned into the network's most gripping scandal in years. And it all began with a folder in Karlie's lap. A folder she had kept sealed for months. A folder that, when opened, dismantled years of manipulation, image crafting, and lies. Now, the question wasn't what Karlie would do next, it was what Kirk would lose next. And now that the dust is still settling and the internet is still spinning, we have to ask, was this the takedown of the decade? Did Karlie Redd just do what no one else dared to do, and rip the mask off Kirk's carefully crafted double life? Or is this just the beginning of something even darker? One thing's for sure, those Frost Files didn't just spill tea, they poured gasoline on a fire that's been smoldering for years. But now, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe Karlie really planned this entire expose down to the last screenshot? Is Rashida truly done for good, or is there another twist on the way? Could Kirk actually be facing legal trouble beyond the drama of reality TV? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because trust, this saga is far from over. If you live for the mess, the mystery, and the moments that make your jaw drop, then don't just scroll past. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn those notifications all the way up, because we've got more exclusives, more dirt, and more chaos headed straight to your feed. This is your front row seat to the wildest reality unraveling yet, and you won't want to miss a single second.